Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to FunPop episode number 57. Hope everyone is having a super fantastic night tonight. We are going to be talking all things movies and TV show stuff and games as well. We actually got three main topics today, and it covers the gamut: game, TV show, and movie. So, kind of, maybe should we make that a format? Like, make sure we hit one of each every week?
Well, I mean, I thought FunPop was more movies and TV stuff because we talk about games every week. So
Yeah, but I feel like there's something I want to talk about tonight about with Starfield that I saw today that I can't help it, right? And we'll have some gaming talk on FunPop, but yeah, it'll definitely be more movies and TV show. Thanks everybody for being here in the chat. I see Alvin, Vic the Click, Def Leopard, Web Dave, what's up? RSJ fan, how's it going? FARK, Poison Maniac. Hope y'all are all doing well. Let's say hello to our awesome panel. What's up, Psycho? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Watching Ahsoka, episode
Ahsoka?
5. Ahsoka. And
Ahsoka.
holy shit. Yeah. Ahsoka. And holy shit. So that's all I gotta say.
Yeah. We'll talk a lot about episodes 1 through 4, you know. It's episode 5 literally just hit an hour ago. I haven't had a chance to watch it. Jasper's halfway through it. You're strangely being able to pay attention to it while you're actually on a podcast. I don't understand how you could enjoy watching it while you're here hanging out with us, but you know what, nonetheless.
I paused it.
Okay, right on. But yeah, we'll talk about Ahsoka, and we all have, I think, a lot of positive things to say about that show for sure. Also wanted to talk a lot about Deadpool 3, because there's more interviews coming out and more information that seem to be pretty badass. Then I got a little bit of Starfield salt to throw back at the salters out there. What's up with you, Jasper? How you doing?
Pretty good. Been watching Ahsoka, as Psycho likes to say, just a minute ago. And then tonight I'm going to be streaming how to build one of the ships from that show. It's also in Rebels, the Ghost ship. So after this show, I'll be streaming that. That's what I'm up to. That's what I've been playing.
How many ships have you built so far?
I don't know, like fucking 8 or 9. I don't know, something like that.
How many can you have? Do you know?
You can have. There's an achievement for having 10, but I save before I build a ship, and then I'll build the ship, and then like record whatever, and then reload my save so I don't lose money.
Right. So
I don't keep the ship. Yeah, I just build it. Play around.
Oh man, I imagine you having this amazing fleet of like ships, like and stuff. At some point, maybe we test the limits. I'm sure there's like a limit.
Yeah, well, I don't have 20 billion fucking Starfield credits to do that with.
Well, I stole another ship today in Starfield, so.
Nice.
It's called the Hulkster.
Yeah, and I finally did the Mantis mission. I've been putting it off for some reason because I kind of knew what it was, because it was like the day the game came out, like Greg Miller on Twitter basically put everything that was in that mission, and then everybody kept talking about it. So I knew everything about it already, so I kind of put it off. Although I'm glad I did do it. I saw Kate doing the mission before, and I saw her on her ship, and I was like, well, okay, I actually do want that ship because it has like kind of an armory area on it to be able to store stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do know that there's a bug right now in Starfield where like certain habitats have like storage chests, and if you put stuff in the storage chest in that habitat, it can get deleted. So it's recommended to just store everything in your cargo. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be bad if lose all. I just got done putting tons of shit in there, man. Right before the show. Anyway, it is what it is. Damn it.
It doesn't delete it. It
no, there's a bug where it's actually deleting it.
Oh. Okay.
From the Mantis or just in ships?
No, just any ship that has a habitat with a storage chest in it.
Mm-hmm.
If you put stuff in the storage chest that's in that habitat, there's a chance it could get deleted.
Just the chest or like the other things?
I've just seen it said storage chest was in the bug report from certain habitats, so I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Right on. Fair enough. Yeah, I'll be careful with that. Yeah, Kevin Baldwin says also has a shielded cargo hold. Yeah, I need to check that out. Since we're already talking about Starfield, we'll start with this, I guess. I was talking to Jasper about it a little bit ago, but right before we went live. I think I saw, and I think it's fair to say that there's no more like ifs, ands, or buts about this biasness or kind of articles being written weirdly about Starfield in a lot of different ways to maybe draw clicks for websites and are a lot of attention seeking out there. I saw Dan Stapleton said something else today as well. It's like if he doesn't like the game, well, he sure likes to talk about it quite a bit. Then there's also quite a other bit of articles coming up that I never see written about other games. Like I never see these kind of articles written about other games. And then I think we've all kind of seen so much of it now where there's no more question about the agenda out there. It's more just like annoying and just getting old at this point. But I saw the most ludicrous one today, I think.
Luda.
Yeah, this one I think took the cake. And this came from Forbes. Now, the funny thing is Forbes themselves reviewed Starfield. But I want to go into this article here. This is from Eric
Forbes.
Kane, a senior contributor at Forbes. He says, Starfield is outdated, unambitious, according to latest scathing review. So he's writing an article about bad reviews for a game. When Forbes themselves also reviewed this game, but yet he feels the need to bring attention to bad reviews that came out for this game. He goes on to say, bad news for Starfield. Microsoft and Bethesda carefully chose who to send review codes to. Forbes was one of those places I'd like to add to everybody out there, which might have been why the original bevy of reviews were so glowing. Now, it just in this first paragraph is where all the issues I take with this article are. He goes on to say, now that more reviews are filtering in from other outlets that started playing at launch, the picture is a bit more grim. So, he's basically saying, hey, the game reviewed positively because Microsoft chose who to send them to, basically trying to insinuate that there's some kind of like agenda from Microsoft to keep negative reviewers out of the picture, even though they send it to plenty of sites that are not known for liking Xbox as well. However, Forbes also did the review, and they were sent a code. Forbes gave it a 9.5. So is this Forbes contributor insinuating that Forbes themselves was pro Xbox and they were just giving it a positive review and they shouldn't trust their review? Instead, goes on to quote Jim Sterling, who is actually a known hates Xbox, hates Microsoft, hates Bethesda. They hate Bethesda because Bethesda is supposedly anti-trans according to them, right? So in Jim Sterling's review, that is what they, or that is what they wrote in the review, is like basically saying like I'm going after them because they hate trans people is what they said, right? So that was in Jim Sterling's review. Also went on to say that he hates Bethesda games and all that kind of stuff. And then also there's videos of him saying that they hate Xbox and all that kind of stuff as well, and that they're going to be biased towards Xbox because Xbox is shit and that's what they feel like they deserve. So this has all happened. This is factual stuff, right?
It's interesting because like part of me, I don't know if it's just bias or if it's just the fact that they're wanting clicks and views and they know that they can do their positive articles and they can do their negative articles and it doesn't fucking matter. Because I mean, you see that all the time with like any popular game. Like IGN will make like a positive story, like they gave Hogwarts probably like an 8.7 or some shit, and then they would write a negative article about Hogwarts. Same thing happened with Cyberpunk. People love Cyberpunk, and then the same news website would come out and just be like, "This game's shit."
Yeah,
so it's like whatever popular game is, it gets positive stuff and negative stuff from the same like media sites. So it's just them going for clicks. I feel like not necessarily bias.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know that Jim Sterling is biased, as they've claimed to actually honestly be that they hate Xbox.
Yeah.
Right. Which I found.
I was just talking more so about the Forbes aspect.
And Forbes and also Metro. Metro's known for that, right? That's what Metro is. It's like a smut magazine that you find in the trains in the UK and stuff. It's like tabloid type article. And articles and stuff. They have a lot of ludicrous things, and they go for shock value and all these kind of different things all the time. And the two people that this writer chose to talk about was Jim Sterling and Metro, and had these scathing reviews of Starfield, which also those two reviews brought the meta down 2 points. It was originally an 86 on Meta on Xbox, and Jim Sterling's review brought it down to an 85, and now today Metro's brought it down to an 84. So it's interesting that this has been happening, and at the end of the day, we're all playing the game and we judge it for ourselves and like it for our own merits and all this kind of stuff. But when you see articles like this, basically saying our review is irrelevant because we received a code earlier than other people that are reviewing it now, you're talking about and dismissing Paul Tassie's review for your same website. I honestly cannot believe that this article exists, because it is basically diminishing their own findings on the game. It's like diminishing their own opinion, their own reviewer, and belittling it in a way, as well as everybody else that reviewed it early as well.
That's the problem with modern news reporting, is everything's an opinion piece now and not facts. So they can say whatever the fuck they want because it's a different writer, it's a different opinion.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I haven't seen one this like bold before, like to where they're basically spitting on their own face. It's like,
I mean, it's so disjointed. They probably they don't even work in the same building. They probably never even see each other.
Somebody submits an article, the editor approves it. Okay, let's run with it.
Yeah, attached.
And it's like, oh yeah, this will probably get lots of attention because Starfield's hot. They probably said, hey, go find something about Starfield and write something about Starfield. Or, hey, we're looking for more articles about Starfield. Write stuff about Starfield. And some guy's like, yeah, I just saw these 2 reviews come out. I'm going to make an article about that, right? Without really considering anything about it. And this is the issue I have. There's no integrity at all with any of these people anymore.
No, they're definitely what I'm picking up is that they're any reviewer that has some kind of media, transmedia being kind of like IGN, they have, the articles that they write and do all this other stuff. What I'm noticing is that they are purposely giving bad reviews to then get clicks to their sites, because you'll get the PlayStation dudes clicking on it to see what they could use for their bullshit console war. And then you'll have Xbox guys clicking on it, see what bullshit they're writing. And that's all they really give a shit, is that negative engagement. They don't give a shit. And at the end of the day, you got Bethesda. They worked all the developers that worked their ass off on this game is now caught in between this weird fucking clickbait.
Well, I mean, IGN got called out fucking twice today. They got called out for the fucking Pringles promo that they're running. There's what's a review that we gave that you disagree with? And there's promoted by Pringles or whatever. And then the fucking other one was the X Defiant thing. They're like, X Defiant's delayed. It's fucking failed certification. And then the fucking guy comes out as most games fail certification first.
Yeah. And that's what we talked about that a little bit the other day, or yesterday. And that's what we said. Was like, for all we know, all games could go through this, right? It's like, who knows, right? But like IGN actually putting it out there and like as the biggest games media outlet is a little bit irresponsible. And also, you pointed to the Pringles thing as well. That was IGN's main account, right? Like,
Yep.
then you have Dan Stapleton going on, who is their reviews editor. Today also made a post about Starfield's vents and saying it's crazy how the sister company that works with them is known for stealth, like Arcane, and how big the vents are in Starfield is like really
It's
weird.
like a man-sized vent compared
right,
to like
exactly. Which I
crawl
agree.
space
First
vent.
time I noticed, like, oh, that's really big for vents, right?
Yeah.
But like, I'm not going to making a post saying like it's like weird because Arcane is part of ZeniMax Bethesda. Like, is Arcane supposed to go and make the vents in Starfield? Like, that was the most disjointed, idiotic take I think I've ever seen. You could say, hey, the vents in Starfield are really big. It's kind of weird. But to go
They
and
got
say
good
like,
AC though.
to go and insinuate that it's really weird because Arcane is part of ZeniMax, like they don't really. I haven't heard a lot about Arcane helping on any big Bethesda games, like, or anything like that before. I don't know. It's like it's just weird stuff, man. And I I guess at this point it's just like gone to the point of like ridiculousness, and it's become so obvious what it is that it's honestly, even though I had issues with the industry and games media and journalism and reviews and stuff before, it's honestly completely made me lose faith with the entire games media like system, and realize that 90% of those sites are just lack any integrity whatsoever, and they'll do whatever
it's
they
not
need.
about news anymore. It's a business. It's how do you
It's
make money?
100%. Right. It's 100%. It's just all about the money and I agree, you got to run a business. But it used to mean something, like
There
to
used
have
to be integrity.
Yeah, it used to mean something like you say what you mean what you say, and not try and just come up with the most attention-getting things. You know what I mean? Like all the gaming magazines we grew up with and all the websites back in the day, like they were full of like information and like well thought out articles and reviews that like actually had like thought put out from them and stuff. And
Well, that's
it's
how
just
these like
different day and age, man.
if they do that now, like they don't make money. So this is the way they've evolved to stay alive. Whereas like, because now that information that you want that used to get, you can just go to their own website of
Yeah.
that developer, and they have their own YouTube page, they have their own Twitter. You get that information yourself now. It's not like
Yeah, they're worthless
yeah.
now. I mean, honestly, that's what it's made me really kind of realize now is like they're all worthless. Like what's the point anymore of them existing except for the conversation that they bring? And that's all they provide.
We get the news fucking first on Twitter before like we ever see it on
Right.
IGN. Usually it's like we see the developer or the studio like, yeah, this is coming this date or whatever, and then you see the IGN thing. So it's like
and not also not all of us. There's lots of good sites out there. There's good people that have integrity behind what they do that are above that stuff, right? But like, the biggest sites, I guess they're that big for a reason, right? Like that's how they got there, and that's how they stay there now.
Well, what they're trying to do is that they see they can get more ad revenue, they get more engagement that brings in more money when they do this. So now it's almost like a business strategy to shit on one side and watch people fight it out and talk about it, and they get engagement.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit. And then you get the casuals. They see, because they know IGN is where they go get their news, and then they see all this stuff like, oh, look at all this bad stuff that's going on, and it's just like, it's not that it's truthfully, they just know that, hey, we can get some quick cash by let's review Starfield bad and let's get a huge engagement.
It's not even
from
about
this.
the reviews anymore, though. It's the ongoing stuff now. It's like the reviews
Well,
happen.
now,
like,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Now
I'm
it's
just
like
talking initially.
it's just
now
it's dumping now. It's just like
It's dumping.
it is. They're dumping on the game. I don't know what else to call it. They're just writing trash articles and dumping on the game. Like I
because it
haven't
gets some clicks.
I know, and I haven't seen this with another game. Like I haven't seen this with another game. I mean, you could say some with Halo, right? But honestly, a lot of those I felt like were like, okay, there's more good points there and all that kind of stuff. Especially as the content drought happened on it. Now it's in a better place, and we've seen more positive articles on that. But like,
I mean,
it's like
Diablo had it too. It's just
yeah, but Diablo,
it's
rightfully so, with what happened there too, though, right? Like,
yeah, I think it's just a lot of the big games, like even GTA 5 back in the day had it. Like came out and it was all positive, but then there's like certain missions that are like, this mission's too violent or whatever. So it's like, I mean, it's just the way big games are. Like you get your positive news and you get your negative news out of it. It's because it's for clicks. So
yeah, man, I wish there was a different way that these sites could get money for that other than ad revenue from clicks. Like it would be nice if there's a different system. I don't know how you could have one, right? Because that's basically, I mean, they get paid from their sponsors that put the ads on the websites and stuff, and then they get paid based on how many views of the ad there are, and they have all these different things. But when that's the key motivation of business model for a website, then it just leads to things like this inherently, and it's like grasping at the easy straws to get that engagement, right? So it's a shame to see, because there's ramifications and repercussions of stuff like that for developers and how games are perceived and all those kind of things, right? And it's a shame, but I haven't seen one as ludicrous from a like credible, somewhat seemingly credible site like Forbes before.
did Paul Tassi comment on it?
No, I tried to get him to.
No.
I tagged him on Twitter, and I was like, Paul, like, this guy basically says your review's like meaningless, right? Like, if for the same
And he
website,
works for your company.
he works for your company. Like, how do you feel about that, bro? Like,
or at your company, for your company.
but like, what's he gonna say? Like, well,
Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous. Oh shit, I guess I gotta find another job. I mean, like, no, I haven't seen that before from Forbes in that way. I've seen some weird opinions and clicky type stuff, and most of the things I've disagreed with Paul before numerous times, right? But I honestly think his opinion is his opinion, and he writes what he feels like he thinks when he's writing it, regardless if I agree with it or not. Like, so I can respect that, right? He gave Starfield a glowing review, and he's actually put on Twitter, he's felt like, for some reason, like, emotionally, he feels like he hasn't felt in a long time the need to defend a game. He posted that, and I kind of get that. Like, I haven't felt the need to defend a game as much as I have Starfield in a long time. Like, it's just like,
that's weird though, because like it's a 88 or whatever. Like, it's still a good game. Like,
it's
the only
not
time
anymore. It's a 84. It's a 84. I bet it's a 80. It's 86 now on
whatever it is, it's still in the fucking 80s. That's
Yeah.
a good game. Like, I was out here fucking defending Forspoken because it was getting shit on because it was like a 60 something. It's like, no, it's better than a fucking 60.
Right. No, I get that, and I've had that with games in the past before. Like, I felt that way back in the day on the 360 era for Chrome Hounds. Like, I was so livid at the review. I loved that game. It was like amazing to me, and all the reviews were just like, "Oh, the campaign is like bare minimum, and there's really not much of a campaign here." I'm like, it's a fucking multiplayer game, guys. Get with the fucking current day and age. It's not supposed to be a real campaign there. It's like a multiplayer online game, and that was kind of a new concept back then for games to be primarily multiplayer without much of a campaign. So Shadowrun and Chromehounds got knocked in the reviews for the same reason because they had basically
3-bit, you bought Gollum. Don't say Forspoken's trash. Come on.
yeah, you did buy Gollum 3-bit, and we have no idea why. Which is like, that was a flash in the pan. Worst game out this year. No, hardly anybody played it. Trash game, and so nobody talks about it anymore, right? Starfield is a big game, getting lots of playtime. So, and it's going to be irrelevant in the conversation for a long time. So that's probably why it's happening. But it is still crazy to see. We did get a $5 super chat from Game Shark. Appreciate you. Game Shark says, just me, but I'm done with these whole bad reviews nonsense. All the bad reviews came from the Xbox haters and people who can't play the game. Hashtag crybabies. Yeah, and this latest article that I wanted to bring up wasn't even a review. It wasn't even somebody that's trying to really give their own opinion on the game too much. It's just bringing extra attention to a couple of clowns that had negative thoughts on it. It was super weird. And then claiming that their own reviews basically, hey, you shouldn't look at this too seriously because these other reviews coming out are worse. So take Jim Sterling and Metro's word over our own reviewer. It basically is what it's insinuating. You should trust Metro and Jim Sterling over our own reviewer on our own website. Never seen that before from what's supposed to be a credible site like Forbes. It's absolutely crazy.
Now, the only thing I could think of is what's happening is that the news media is trying to flex and puff up their chest and be like, listen, Xbox, we control if your game's successful or not by what we write. Now, make sure you give us codes because that's what
Forbes
Metro's
got a
crying
code.
about.
No, it was Forbes.
Yeah, Forbes also.
Well, Metro was crying that they didn't get a code, but screw them. Like they have a reason they didn't get a code because they're
how many
dumpster fire of a tabloid gaming site that doesn't take things seriously. Why should they get a code? They are tabloid bullshit opinion fake gaming news. Like it's like why even ever provide them with anything? Like they should never be provided with an interview from anybody in the industry. They should never be provided with a quote. They should never be provided with a response from a company to anything they ever inquire about. They should never be provided with any game codes or anything because it's a trash site. It holds no value to actual public information whatsoever. It's just for their own entertainment and purposes, and that's the whole reason they exist. So fuck them, and then they want to go out there, and the bad thing is, like, they can do whatever the hell they want, right? Like, National Enquirer existed, right?
Who
all
the
those
fuck
things.
even goes to Metro anyway?
Exactly. But the people read it
did
on the
Forbes
bus.
get only one code? Is that why they're upset and
it's
writing
not,
this?
It's not Forbes that's upset about the code. It's Metro that's upset.
Yeah, I know Forbes or Metro's upset because they didn't get a code. But I'm saying is Forbes upset because they only got one code?
No, Forbes is just making a ridiculous random clickbait article.
So they just want clicks.
They're saying that people who got early codes reviews don't matter because that makes them biased because they got early codes from Microsoft.
Right.
Yeah, but throwing their own reviewer under the bus because they gave it a 9.5, Paul Tassi did, saying basically like, hey, you should trust Metro and Jim Sterling's review,
because they got the code after
they got the code after the game instead of our own Paul Tassi, who gave it a 9.5.
See,
it's ridiculous. It's insanity.
Jim Sterling is all fucking. He got his panties in a bunch because Bethesda let go one trans developer, and that was it.
Yes.
It was one,
and
we don't know why. And we don't know why the circumstances, why, of what happened. It could have been the performance, their work, not of anything else. Because trust me, at these developers, I guaranteed that they are very open and allow a lot of whatever you want to call it. What's the word I'm trying to say? Allow different everyone of different anything. What
They
I'm
have a lot of
pretty much-
diversity in
diversity.
the
Thank
gaming,
you,
yeah.
thank you. So they have a lot of diversity. So for to get butthurt because of this
Well,
person
the
getting
funny
fired,
thing is too is the other thing
is
some people are
fucking
upset
lame.
about is the fact that they have pronouns in the game. Also,
Well,
it's like
that's
you can't win. They can't win either way. With
Well, that's
this,
the same thing happened with Hogwarts. Hogwarts, it
yeah.
wasn't. They didn't have pronouns in it, or J.K. Rowling like made fun of trans people, wherever the fuck it was. I don't even remember at this point. But
And then
people,
Hogwarts put a trans person in
No,
the game, right?
the whole J.K.
yeah.
Rowling thing is way blown. It was just something different, and we're definitely not going to get.
But
into
yeah,
that.
but besides that, basically, like with the Starfield thing, the Forbes writer chose to quote and bring extra attention to somebody's review that blatantly and openly hates Bethesda and Xbox and Microsoft, and hates them, and says so multiple times before. There's video of them saying that they will be biased against Xbox on purpose. There's also in the review itself, it starts out with basically saying that Bethesda hates trans people, and so I'm gonna give them what they deserve, right? Like, and then they go to basically say, I've always hated Bethesda games, they've always been trash, and this is another trash Bethesda game, and gave it a 4 out of 10. Now, this Forbes writer thinks that that person that wrote that review, because they received the code later, is more credible than their own reviewer. That just because they actually received the code early, which is the most ludicrous thing. And if articles like this will put them in danger of maybe not getting those codes in the future. These are the kind of things that cause those things to happen, right? Then you have Metro's thing, like FARK says in the chat. Metro's not even a gaming site; it's just a side thing that not many pay attention to. And then even in the newspaper you get at underground stations, you hardly ever get gaming news. Yeah, it's like that's what I've understood from it. Is like it's a random kind of nonsense type magazine deal you get in the train stations or in the subways there, right? In the UK, some reason it's weighted on Meta. And they're upset that they didn't get a code. Like, whatever. Who cares about Metro? But, like, it's obviously a agenda for one thing or another. Their own money and clicks for the Forbes. Or anti-Xbox, whatever. If you're going to go and bring attention to Metro and Jim Sterling over your own website review. That is the most ludicrous thing I think I've seen so far.
Wow, Luda just keeps coming up today.
And Luda,
it's like the fifth time he's
Luda's on fire. Tom from Tsunami with the $2 super chat says, "Did y'all see the leaked Fallout show trailer?" I have not yet, bro, but I do want to check that out.
I don't. He may be talking about the one that came out of Gamescom that was recorded on like a fucking camcorder from 1990s.
Oh, really? I've seen lots of shots of like the set, which looks incredible. Looks like Fallout. So I'm excited to see that for sure. I wonder what IGN will give the Fallout TV show. I bet it's gonna be a 7. What do you want to say? But yeah, I'm excited. To see I'm excited.
It's not realistic to the source material.
Yeah, I can't wait for those shows to come out. Everything's delayed.
I know people are already complaining about the Fallout show that one of the graphics they put out used AI art. So people were like, they didn't pay an artist or whatever. So it's like there's already negative stuff about it.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
I want everything to get back to normal with Hollywood right now because it's delaying our movies. I want the actors and writers and everybody to get paid what they're deserved. I hope they come to a conclusion soon and reach a deal. But man, this Deadpool 3 news is where we're going next, and lots of awesome things with this movie. And Sean Levy, who's a director, was doing some interviews recently and brought lots of awesome details out. One thing, he's upset that there's so much leaked footage of the set of some of the scenes and stuff in the movie. He was personally upset because of Wolverine's costume was leaked. Right. That's been leaked for a long
I mean,
time
we've
now.
been, yeah.
Yeah, but he was interviewing it, talking about that. It does look awesome, right? And I think it's brought more hype to the movie than anything, I think. But there's some other cool details here too, guys, that I think you'll be excited about, and I shared with you on in the DMs a little bit ago. One of them is that it is going to be R. It definitely an R movie is what he said, which we've been hearing, but he
Wasn't the last
reconfirming.
one? Last Deadpool was all right.
Yeah, but there was
Because
there was a
you
lot of
had,
people nervous because that
yeah.
was before Disney bought Fox, right?
Yeah.
And got the rights to Deadpool, so everybody's afraid they're gonna Disneyfy it and stuff like that. But this one is supposed to be an R-rated movie, very much R, is what he said. So that's very promising. If you're a fan of Deadpool, fan of the comics, or if you're a fan of the movies, then not much to change there because it's gonna stay pretty hardcore. But then also the other thing that I really want to talk about is this. I thought it was really cool because, and I think you'll appreciate this, Jasper, because there's been so much bad CGI in the Marvel movies lately.
Yeah.
He said, we went to great lengths to not shoot it on sound stages with digital environments. We wanted something that felt grounded and real.
Oh, you mean like the beach instead of that snowy mountain where the fuck you thought it was?
That's right, dude. Was that the last conversation? Was that a FunPop episode?
No, it was just, I think, something we had in party chat or something, maybe. Or,
Oh,
no, we did
yeah.
have it on a show because I remember that it may have been FSP.
Was that like it could have been our it was FSP probably.
Yeah, because Fuzzy was there and Fuzzy was
Yeah.
like, I don't give a shit about it.
Yeah, but it looks looking good. So more basically grounded stuff, not as much CGI. Is that promising for you?
Yeah, I mean, even from like the there was like one of the leaked images where it showed Wolverine like stabbing Deadpool in the back and like lifting him up. So like you can already tell that that's going to be like, if they show like his spikes going through his claws going through Deadpool's chest, like that's just going to be amazing.
Yeah. Well, we saw the one like footage that they had that leaked of like somebody filming them shooting the movie, right? Where like Wolverine was literally had his like claws up on him like this and was kind of like lifting him up in the air a little bit.
What I just said.
Yeah, well, I can imagine. I know that we'll see that the claws actually going all the way through when they do that. What about you, Psycho?
Yeah, I'm liking that it's going to be practical effects than all this VFX. It's a good mixture because Marvel kind of been they kind of
the movies are usually pretty good. It's the shows that kind of lack, but
yeah, but they totally like fall on VFX to do everything, which some of the stuff they have to, but you know, your practical effects is always the more realistic experience that you're gonna get. It doesn't have that, because sometimes you can get a sense of, okay, that's not real, but it's promising, and I'm hoping that it's going to be a total bloodbath from what he said is promising, and we're going to get a lot of cameos. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's something else that kind of has been going around. And which one of them? There's a rumor.
Doubles.
There's a rumor here that I'm kind of excited about, but we'll see. Halle Berry?
Yeah.
What
yeah,
Storm? Okay.
Storm. So I mean, Storm, Sabretooth, some other X-Men that been in one Deadpool movie, and it wasn't that great. But now we might get a good person who's going to play this character. I won't mention it because
it's a rumor. So I mean, it's a rumor.
See.
Like,
but their stunt double has been spotted on IBM.
Yeah.
What is IBM or something?
IMDb.
Yeah, whatever. That fucking place. Their stunt double has been listed So it's like
that was literally my next topic. So we don't have to skirt around it. So
good segue.
Channing Tatum's stunt double was spotted in the credits, I guess, on IMDb for Deadpool 3. Now, that's a rumor that maybe Gambit will appear in Deadpool 3. Now,
I mean, it also doesn't necessarily have to be like he's a stunt double, so like he can be being a stunt double for any character.
Right. He could be for Wolverine or could be for Ryan Reynolds. Who knows, right? I guess for some reason he's attached to Channing Tatum, according to the article that's out there, whatever, more so than anybody else. So now, for people that don't know, there was originally a Gambit movie that was supposed to be made with Channing Tatum as Gambit, and that never happened. That was supposed to happen, and then the whole Disney Fox thing happened. The X-Men movies fell through the shitter before before that whole acquisition happened anyway, and then it just never materialized. Maybe this is a sign like that it could actually happen. Some people didn't like the idea of Channing Tatum playing Gambit. Personally, I don't have a lot of issue with it. He's
better than the last guy.
I feel like he's too big.
Think he's too big? Well,
they need like a skinnier dude. I feel like.
Have you seen him in like his original movies, like the Step Up movies and stuff? Like that was the first movie. Like he was
Step Up.
Is it Step Up? Yeah, he was in Step Up. Like that was like his first big role.
What kind of movies are you watching, bro?
It was like a street dancing movie. That's where he came. That's where his first big break was.
You're married. Sorry, no, I'm just busting your balls. It's no.
Everybody knew that about Channing Tatum. I mean, it's where he came from. Like
21 Jump Street, bro.
No,
Jasper knows
came
later. That came years
from
later.
Magic Mike. That's what Jasper knows him.
Well,
Magic
I mean,
Mike.
Later he did Magic Mike.
I didn't know he was in that Psycho. So.
Yeah. What are you on tonight, bro? Anyway, so
it's a good cast.
Yeah, like I think he could pull it off. I think he could. Yeah. Now he's been really skinny before, like in roles, and he can move really well. Like, so I think you could do a lot of like cool things there. He is kind of funny as well. Like he makes cameos sometimes just to make fun of himself. I appreciate that. Yeah. Bullet Train was hilarious. His cameo in Bullet Train was fucking amazing. So anybody that's willing to like make fun of themselves, I gain respect for, right? Because we all have stereotypes for actors and stuff, and he's get pigeonholed as a certain kind, and he doesn't mind that. Like he has fun with it, right? But he's also done really good things as well, and he's done serious movies too and stuff. Like
he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna be like fucking jacked up like Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. I think he doesn't have the bulk with kind of like Jason Momoa, like bulk size. I think he could be on a smaller frame and still be representative Gambit well, because Gambit wasn't small framed, but he wasn't
I feel like his chest wasn't as like big up here,
Yeah, but they fucking know that exercise bullshit that they could do that will tone themselves to be that frame if they need to be for a role. So it's one of those things that because Gambit, it has that little comical side, at least from the 90s X-Men TV show. He had that little bit of comical side and a little bit in the comics. So Chanham's seems like a great fit.
Chanham's,
but we got Chanham's. Fuck that.
You're sitting here making fun of me for knowing about the movie Step Up, and you're sitting here calling him Chanham.
Can't say his name.
Because that's much I care about the guy. But we got Daniel Radcliffe was also.
If Daniel Radcliffe plays Gambit, I will not see this.
No, not Gambit.
Okay.
He's a a surprise guest, so we don't know, because that was rumors. Because if this is going to be like the multiverse, he could be like the multiverse Wolverine. Because Wolverine was a very short.
He doesn't have the voice for Wolverine. I hope like is this sound like
Mm.
this playing Wolverine? I don't I don't know, man.
We'll see. But I'm just saying,
You
I'm
need
not
someone
saying
to
he
also have
is,
that like Louisiana accent, like with the Gambit, you know?
Yeah, but they're actors. They can act a voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Tom Harland.
Tom Harland?
Harland. Tom Holland.
One of these days, Psycho will say a name
I
correctly.
might.
One day
I
he
might.
will get
One day.
a name correct.
No promises. I swear to God, but maybe.
He's always like
But no.
so close, like he knows the name. It just comes out
Linda
wrong.
Khan?
It just comes. Yeah. No, it will always
Oh,
be
fuck.
Linda Khan. I don't care. So, fuck that bitch. So yeah, there's just going to be a lot of cameos, and I think that's going to be like really cool and could really set up the mutant side, because then now if they do like a multiverse and they have multiple characters.
This is what
of
we'd
these-
get for Daniel Radcliffe playing Wolverine. This is an article from Yahoo Entertainment or comingsoon.net. I don't know who wrote this fucking article. This is Daniel Radcliffe playing
Forbes.
Wolverine in Deadpool 3 and future MCU movies. This is the basic concept I would think we would see from Wolverine from Daniel Radcliffe, and I ain't having any of that. I'm just saying, no,
He's
not gonna happen.
that's Weapon X right there, guys.
That's
No. Weapon X and his tidy whities. No, it's just going to be an interesting how they're going to pull this all off. If they're just going to do just a bunch. And that's the thing. It could be comical. It could just be like, let's just throw someone in there and see what people react to. And they could, because that's how the Deadpool spoofs on shit like that. So it could be like a win-win, because you could see Daniel Radcliffe and he could be like, you know, he'll pretend he's Wolverine, and then there's a Sentinel that squashes him, and then it's like a haha moment, and you know it could be one of those things that it could be hilarious, and you know, and then like, oh, he was in it for a minute, yeah, and that's, you know, shit like that. So.
Kevin Baldwin says, "Yeah, why don't they just get a swole, short, hairy Canadian guy to play Wolvie?" Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I it's always going to be a hard replacement.
Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, just like Robbie Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. You're never going to change that.
Exactly. Forever and ever,
Yeah.
when people think of Wolverine, they will think of Hugh Jackman, right? When people think of Iron Man, they will think of Robert Downey Jr. You know, there's more like Superman is like, who's your favorite Superman, or who's your favorite Batman? You know what I mean? Like, but there's no question when people look back. Well, I know, but my point is somebody else might say a different answer.
Well, they're wrong.
Okay. And Spider-Man, you could ask that too. But like overall, like there's one Wolverine, really, and then there's one Iron Man, you know. And they played those roles for so long. But nobody's played a superhero longer than Hugh Jackman has played Wolverine. When did the first X-Men movie come out?
2000, 2001, something like that.
Yeah, so and he's gonna portray him again after he was supposed to be done, right? In this movie, which may come out next year, hopefully, as long if it depends on what happens. They're halfway done with shooting.
Yeah,
so
it got delayed due to the after strike.
Whenever the strike is over, they'll pick it back up, right? So who knows exactly when we're gonna get to see this movie, but for whenever it comes out, you will have somebody have portrayed the same character for over 2 decades. It's pretty crazy, right?
Patrick Stewart was in Doctor Strange.
That's a good one. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Professor X.
Yeah.
That's the only other one, really, right? Was he in?
He was in Logan, and Doctor Strange was the last 2 movies.
Oh, who's been in more movies?
Wolverine's had more.
The thing is though, they did replace him with James McAvoy for like the younger Professor X. So there is a second Professor X that exists, and he was in a few movies.
Was Wolverine in any of those?
Yes, he was in Days of Future Past.
I don't think I've seen that.
But so was Patrick Stewart. He was in the beginning of it, right? I think, wasn't he? You didn't see Days of Future Past?
I stopped watching a lot of those X-Men
Really?
movies.
That's like the best one, dude. Like
I watched the first like two like reboot or alternate timeline, where the fuck it was, and then I just like gave up on them.
Yeah, you got to watch Days of Future Past. I mean, it messes up with timelines and stuff, but as a movie, it's like the best of the newer best of. It's arguably the best X-Men movie, and like you could argue it maybe with like some of the original trilogy, right? But besides those, you can't.
Wolverine's also had his own movies too. He's had
Yeah,
Wolverine Origins and Wolverine or whatever.
Yeah. Has he made any other cameos? He also had Logan, which was his own movie.
Yeah. There's also kind of a Professor X movie along with it too.
So he's had 3 of his standalones, right? He's had the original trilogy for X-Men, so that's 6, right? He's had Days of Future Past, that's 7. I think he also made a cameo in one of the other ones as a younger Wolverine breaking out of the facility. I don't remember which one though. And then you'll have Deadpool 3. So maybe like 8 or 9 appearances. I don't know. It's pretty crazy though. Patrick Stewart's up there too. I can't really think of any other. Is there any other superheroes that are like characters that are cemented forever as like?
I would say arguably like the first few Avengers except Hulk. Like Thor's probably like
always gonna be Chris.
Black Widow. Yeah. It's always gonna be Scarlett
Chris
Johansson.
Evans, Captain America.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the new Captain America, but that's a different character, and it wasn't even in the comics and stuff, right? So it's gonna be.
Well, they had multiple variants of each superhero, you know. So, like,
there's the core originals, right? That like people have. When you think of it, that's what you think of. Like, when you think of Thor, you think of the original Thor. You think of Iron Man, you know, like Flash DC. I don't know why I said Flash. But,
I mean, you look at like, there's Frog Thor, and they had all that in the Loki TV show. It was just to pay homage. It starts with the G. I forget his damn name. Billy something. Damn, I forget his name. But he looks like some alien creature. It's like Billy something. But there's just a lot of like really cool things that they could do with those characters if they decide to move from the original characters. So.
Yeah.
You know, like Gray Hulk, Red Hulk.
Yep. But there's one core version of each of the characters that all the variants are based off of, right? Like, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, there's, you know, the other ones will always like that allows them to play with it more without doing damage to the history of that character within the MCU. Right.
There's also a way that they can do like goofier stories or other stories with it without being like, see, it's a different Thor, so it doesn't affect the Thor or whatever.
Exactly. It allows them to be a little bit crazier with what they want to do and stuff. James Thomas as Chadwick Boseman will always be Black Panther. That's cemented, but like I don't think
1,000,000%.
I don't know if that's ever been created before where it's so cemented from such a short time, because he only had one main movie, right? And then he appeared in some of the other MCU movies. Like,
see, I don't agree with that, because I feel like Black Widow is a different character, like, than Chadwick Boseman. I feel like they're almost two different. Like, I think he's T'Challa for sure, but I don't want to say Black
Panther.
Yeah, Black Panther. I mean, because like Black Panther's like that's evolved to where it can be multiple people.
because it's a suit that's passed down.
Yeah.
Right. I get that, but like in the mentality of people though, like if you're talking about like comics and stuff, yeah, I agree there. But like when we talk about when people say Black Panther,
Yeah.
people will always think of Chadwick Boseman, right? If I say Spider-Man,
There's three answers.
Right, exactly. Who does your mind jump to? Depends on your mood that day, right? If you say Batman, if you say Superman, if you say Black Panther, your mind's always going to jump to Chadwick Boseman because he cemented it as the Black Panther, even though his father was or whatever, and then it passed down, like, and now it's Shuri or whatever. But like, I'm not sure. It was a Shuri. I can't remember the damn
Shuri,
movie.
yeah.
It was Shuri, right? Okay, yeah. It's always going to be legacy.
See, that's where I
pays
think
back
that in like 10 years from now, is that still the answer? Because I think if they continue with Shuri, like she may be seen as Black Panther.
What if she's like, it does like 10 movies or some shit like
Yeah.
that? Yeah, like I could see it would take a lot though for anybody to supplant that like legacy, you know? I don't know if it's possible. But I think it's because it's like he's so beloved
Yeah.
as the character that I don't know if anybody can ever replicate that. Like for me, like Superman is Christopher Reeve, right? Because I grew up with that, and I grew up with those original movies and stuff, and like I love Henry Cavill as Superman, like perfect casting, and I think he does a great job. Best Superman they've had since, you know. But like for me, if somebody says who is Superman to you, I'll always
And I'm
say
like, I
Christopher
really
Reeve.
don't give a fuck. I
Right.
prefer Henry Cavill because he looks like Superman. But other than that, I could care less
Yeah.
who's Superman.
But there was like Superman in the 50s, or you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
was that to them, you know? So for Batman, Michael Keaton grew up with that, you know, but I only got 2 movies with him as Batman, you know, but now we made the cameo with the Flash, but
Christian Bale's the best Batman, but it's like,
right.
is he
But
the
he also
Batman?
was made fun of so much for his Batman. Like it's just like his overdoing it with his voice.
If he had like 6 movies, then he would be the Batman that
Right.
everyone thinks of. But it's like he only had 3.
Yeah, is that the problem? Nobody's done it long enough. Like everybody always.
Well, it's
on.
because they switch fucking Batmans every 4 years. It's like, oh, we got to do a different actor.
Yeah.
So
Ben Affleck. There's been so many freaking Batmans. Like Adam West, right? Then you have Michael Keaton. You have Val Kilmer. You have George Clooney, Christian Bale, and then Ben Affleck, and now Robert
the
Pattinson.
vampire dude.
Robert Pattinson, right? Now, I don't think any superhero has been portrayed by more people. Maybe Superman. It's probably close. I don't know.
Did you say Adam West for Batman?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think Batman's probably been portrayed by more people than anybody, but maybe Superman, because Superman goes back further on screen.
Well, it was Christopher Reeve's father that did it back in the 50s and 40s.
It was George Reeves, right?
Yeah.
Can't remember.
I think Superman's also had
Kevin
a lot more TV
Conroy
shows.
also. Yeah.
If you count the TV show stuff, Superman's been in. Like,
Yeah,
you had Smallville
That's
and
true.
the CW shit.
Yeah. That goes for Superman too. I mean, it goes for Batman too.
Well, there wasn't
Yeah.
a Batman, was there?
Well, there's Gotham, so
Well,
you have
there's-
like young Bruce
Oh,
Wayne and
God,
stuff.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have other things where there's other takes like that may have like a cameo from Bruce Wayne or stuff like that. So I don't know, but yeah, There's been more TV shows for Superman for sure. You have the Lois and Clark show right now. This is ongoing. You have Smallville. So I think I'm missing one. There was another one in there. Can't remember. But so for movies though, there was like George Reeves, there was Christopher Reeve, there's Brandon Routh played him in a movie. You have obviously Henry Cavill, and then the new guy. They already announced who the new Superman is going to be. I don't know his name, but
Yeah, not Superman.
Not Superman.
Y'all said the end of Flash credits like spoiler thing. I don't know if that's a spoiler, but
yeah,
another
spoiler
actor
alert. Yeah,
Nick
it's
Cage.
okay. Yeah. That movie never came out.
No, he was. He was offered the role and he turned it down for something.
No, Nick Cage.
Yeah.
No, he actually filmed the movie. It was a Tim Burton movie. They actually filmed the movie, and it never.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, a lot of it. They didn't. I don't know if they ever finished it.
Okay.
But yeah, they had him doing the fittings and all that stuff, and like they filmed stuff for it. There's actually shots out there, like you can look up of him as Superman.
I know he's a huge Superman fan because he had Superman #1 for the longest time. He spent, I forget how many millions he bought it for, and then he had to sell it.
Yeah,
he went bankrupt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's it would have been interesting. That would have been a different take on Superman for sure. Yeah, I think it's more of like a OP, like evil take on Superman or whatever, you know. There's giant robot spiders and shit like that. Nuts. But anyway, yeah. Deadpool 3, looking forward to it. I think that everything we're hearing is really good. Grounded.
Yeah, I think it's probably the next big superhero movie I'm looking forward to.
He also made a weird comparison. He compared it to planes, trains, and automobiles in a way. Which is interesting because like Deadpool's a comedy, like also, right? But like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is fucking hilarious. You've probably never seen it, Jasper.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it. It's
Steve Martin and John Candy.
Let me look up the cover.
You gotta watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's like Steve Martin has to travel with John Candy, and John Candy is like an idiot kind of guy or whatever, annoying and gross and does all these things and whatever, makes the trip a living hell. Yeah, but it's also an endearing, like, fun story and stuff too. He compared it to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. The director did, in a way, so it makes me think there's some kind of buddy thing there between Wolverine and Ryan Reynolds, where like Deadpool and Wolverine, where Deadpool is more the John Candy character and Wolverine is more of the Steve Martin, because that would fit their personalities, right? For the kind of roles they are, and that has me excited. Like, they're on a journey. Deadpool's a clown. Wolverine's just like no nonsense. Like,
so it's gonna be like a fucking road trip thing where you got the fucking annoying passenger or whatever. And it's just like, let's just get to the fucking place. And it's like, I don't know.
I can't wait to see what they come up with. I think it's going to be an original, hilarious / hardcore rated R movie, and I can't come soon enough. We're got a long wait with lots of cameos too, so lots of things to look forward to with this. If Channing Tatum makes a cameo, that's one thing he's known for, is doing cameos anyway. As Gambit, I would hope that if he wanted to play Gambit, I'm a huge Gambit fan. Like, that's one of my favorite superheroes, period. Cross my fingers, we get a Gambit movie in the future. But I
hope Colossus is back.
Colossus? You like Colossus?
Like my favorite X-Men.
What's the teenage girl's name? Super Dynamite Teenager Extreme Power Master 3000 or whatever her name
is. It's Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Megasonic Teenage Warhead. Right on. That sounds like a band from the 80s, doesn't it?
1, 2, 3, 4. What's that?
Yeah. Megasonic Teenage Warhead. Anonymous Boss with the $10. Appreciate it. Anonymous Boss says, what's up, Mav, Jasper, Psycho, and Chad? Guys, I need to know if Mechasult will be revived sometime down the line. Well, it's a licensing hell, an IP hell, according to Phil Spencer. One could hope, but I'll say what they should do is just make another fucking game with mechs in it and don't worry about calling it Mechasult. Who cares what the name is? Just make it a spiritual successor. I know Phil Spencer wants to make the game. He wants to do it.
Yeah, you call it Mech Battle instead of Mechasult.
Yeah, or just
Robot Mech.
Robot Assault. Or whatever. Like, whatever the issue is with the licensing, they can come up with a new game that's similar to the old Mecha Souls. Because at this point, if there's a new Mecha Soul, it's going to be completely different anyway. Like, it's not like we're taking the core game that it was 20-something years ago and just updating it. No, it's going to be a whole new game anyway. So if they can't get the licensing and IP figured out, just call it something else. It seems dumb that they would not. I don't know. Unless it's for marketing reasons. They don't think it would sell. How did Armored Core 6 do, sales-wise? Well, I haven't really heard anything about that.
I don't think they've put anything out. I mean, I could have missed it, but...
I don't know. I have it. I haven't even touched it.
Let's get into Ahsoka. Ahsoka is freaking awesome.
I was watching it today or tonight, and I haven't felt like this is the best show since Band of Brothers.
Since Band of Brothers?
Jesus Christ.
Wow. That's high praise, Jasper. Are you serious?
I'm 100% serious. I haven't felt like this quality of a show since Band of Brothers.
Wow. Hey, that's coming from you. It's pretty critical.
I know.
Like, you're a glass half empty kind of guy. Like, I'm kind of astounded right now. Now, I knew you liked it, but to say this is the best since Band of Brothers?
That's how much I love the show right now. I swear to God, if they ruin it in the last 3 episodes, I'm gonna throw a fucking fit. But
wow. So your episode 5 is living up to your expectations so far?
Yes, I mean, even the first 4 episodes were fucking awesome too.
Yeah.
What is it that y'all like so much about? I gotta say, I agree. I 100%. I love the show. It's my favorite Star Wars TV show so far, by far. Even I love Mandalorian as well, first season especially. But Ahsoka's really cool. I really like it, but I'm not as big of a Star Wars geek as you guys are. So specifically, what is it like?
Well, for me, it's like.
Y'all talk about it. I'll be right back.
Feels it's based in the old style Star Wars, just like the mannerisms and how their things are portrayed and kind of developing. It just feels like really good Star Wars. It has substance versus, especially. Episode fucking 8 and 9, those are just horrible. 7 was decent. I just didn't like the whole Death Star 2 or 3 bullshit. That was not my. Outside of that, I thought Force Awakens was pretty decent, but for this new Disney age Star Wars, this has definitely been really they kept true to the source, and this is pretty much based on the books, and I think I don't know if it's on the heir of the Empire, and that's who this character, the new enemy threat that's going to be coming.
This is right when the Empire fell.
Yeah, so it's it's just really good. Well written, really great. The execution of the lightsaber battles are really done well, especially the Sith Lord. I forget his goddamn name.
Balin.
Balin. So his movement is It felt like that moment we saw from Rogue One with Vader coming down that hallway.
No, it felt like this is fucking back. This is episode 3 lightsaber combat. The fucking lightsaber combat is the best lightsaber combat we've seen since episode 3.
Correct.
Hands down.
It has truly been. It's just been that. It's just been really done well. Um, it's just I wish Pong would check this series out, but he doesn't like he's given up on Disney. So
But he said he also doesn't like the character Ahsoka. Also, like, so
I mean, some of this like it's named Ahsoka, but like some of the episodes kind of like
yeah,
focus more on Sabine and stuff too. So
right. Like
Mhm.
I feel like Ahsoka's story is just a part of this show, like which I'm actually really appreciating too. Like this is a much grander story than I was expecting for this show. Like
yeah,
I was
I
expecting just like, hey, follow along the kind of like Mandalorian. Like, hey, this is like what's happening into us to the Mandalorian today and on his adventure or whatever. And I felt like they'd probably have
Yep.
some stupid thing that they would have her go and do or whatever. But this is much grander. Seems more important. Is it because it seems more important to the story, like filling in some like lore
I
that
don't
it
even know
seems
if
like it's serious or...
if it's more important or if it just that it honors and like actually pays attention to the lore that's already existed and it doesn't try to change that.
Right. So it's more faithful, right?
Yeah.
yeah, it's more to the source, more to the original Star Wars, and just really how everything's portrayed and how everything's just balanced really well. Uh, it didn't. They don't try to put any like haha moments. There's no, you know, they're not trying to push a character so he could be the most popular character, so they can sell fucking toys. Um, it's done really
Yeah.
good, and I think that's what a lot of people are excited for, and especially anyone that has watched Rebels. It's kind of like
Yeah,
it's
if you've
the
watched
what happened,
Clone
what
Wars
it,
or Rebels, like this show
yeah.
will like is just like a live action version of the next season of that. It's amazing. The fucking bad guy Balin Scroll is the most interesting bad guy that they've ever had since Disney took over.
Mhm.
Like
Yes.
they nailed the casting on that. The weakest casting is, in my opinion, Ahsoka, and she's still all right. Like it's not like bad or
See, I
it's
was
just not
thinking
great.
she's just been killing it.
Yeah,
Even with like for her, like the way like because she's so super serious all the time.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I really like the way like a perfect casting for that. I feel like Rosario Dawson, like she kind of like is like confident but also like serious and also um
There's
seeming like
reasons to
yeah, like there's a lot there. And the actress that they cast for Sabine, and I don't really have any knowledge on the character from the animated stuff because I didn't ever watch the animated stuff, right? But I really like that character a lot. You know, I know that some people like may not like the whole everybody can try and be a Jedi or whatever type stuff that goes on with this,
Yeah.
but like also they're playing into that also with this
But-
show. You know,
This is where this show could have problems. Is if by the end of the season, if Sabine is just like fucking Ahsoka level powerful, then it fucks it up. She has to slowly become a Jedi. She needs to just like
Not
maybe
Rey.
like brush some hair with the Force first. Don't
Right.
don't fucking choke someone or use lightning.
like Ray,
Yeah.
like Ray was
Yeah.
so OP
Rey's
from the beginning,
right off the rip. Yeah,
Yeah.
that shit was fucking fake. It just did not feel legitimate. I
It's
mean,
all fake. I mean, but
no,
you know what
but
I mean.
it
Yeah,
just does not feel. It
Yeah, I
wasn't
know what you mean.
cohesive to the universe of Star Wars. So
Mhm.
with this, it definitely everything that has transpired to this point, because I'm halfway through episode 5, and I will say this about episode 5. I understand why they wanted to put it in the movie theaters. Holy fuck. And I'm only halfway through.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm going to say. But yeah, it's one of those really done well. David Filoni, John Favreau, just doing a really good job. And let's hope Kathleen Kennedy keeps her fucking horrible mitts off this franchise and Disney sees that they actually have a future with her not being involved.
Is she responsible for making any decisions with this show?
I do not think so. I think
I
this
think
is
Dave Filoni is like has his whole hands on it right now. That's where I'm afraid, like, if
I
it's
I don't know
successful,
what her
that she
role
may
is
try to come
now,
in.
so I don't know.
She's
like,
just like executive producer.
I think
to
she just
put
kind
her
of hands
name
out the
there.
budget. She's like, here, you can have $150 million. to
yeah.
make
So
this
is it her decision? Basically, what I'm getting at is it her decision to have Dave Filoni make the show?
I don't know.
Because
I don't-
if that's the case, you got to give her credit for that. If she said, here, do what you want with this, and
But like
you know,
some,
keep your
like I
hands
think
off.
before she was putting like creative decisions like into shows. Like she's like, well, I want this to be this way or whatever. It's like,
Yeah, she
No.
had her hands in how how things were. Like Grogu was 100% her. I feel that. I feel Grogu was that. We need a toy to sell the kids. Let's have Grogu, and Grogu's fucking awesome. We got to bring him back because it just felt like an end of episode 1 of or end of season 1 of Mandalorian. Like he was gonna go off to possibly just train with Luke Skywalker or find a Jedi or some bullshit. I don't know. It just felt like he was just gonna go off somewhere and just do his thing and be a Jedi, and then we might see him maybe 150 years later, and he's more mature, and he's more of a small child than a baby at 50.
Yeah.
Which is still weird.
I mean, it's Yoda. He's fucking. They can live to be like
I
900
know.
years old or whatever.
I don't know, but it's so weird.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch episode 5. I'm probably gonna have to wait to watch it tomorrow. But the way they ended with 4, I know I'm not gonna say what happened at the end, right? Because there's probably a lot of people here that haven't seen it. But
If you haven't seen that, I don't know how you fucking missed it because it's been all over Twitter and YouTube for like a fucking week.
it was crazy.
They got stuff episode 5 on Twitter right now, so watch out.
Yeah. I don't know, and it was my main thing is like, where's this going, right? Like, and I can't wait to see it. But like, going back to Sabine though, like, I like that. The whole Mandalorian backstory behind her as well, like in kind of playing between both worlds, right? Trying to move past that, but having to rely on it at the same time, right? Because she's not there yet. So
which kind of hasn't been throughout Rebels, so it's like it's one of those things that's like she tries, but I think her brother Esteban, is it Esteban?
Ezra.
What?
Ezra,
One, it's not
sorry.
even her brother. And 2, it's not even Esteban.
It's not her brother. Yeah. Oh my god.
No, what was it?
Ezra.
Ezra?
I
Okay,
even know this, Psycho. I know this. You're like more of a Star Wars guy than I am. It's Ezra, and I also knew it wasn't the brother.
I forget. I forget.
But
I think he's more Force sensitive.
Yeah, because he
he's a
was a Jedi.
Yeah,
Or became a
he's
Padawan.
I already got that from it too. Because she had his lightsaber, right? Anyway, lots of interesting stuff going on with the show. I don't know what you're taking in from this show. I was like, oh, what are you watching it? If you're just watching it in a stoned gaze, like lightsaber fight.
Oh, that's our brother Esteban.
There's Esteban.
I thought it was the brother. That's why she's so upset.
Why does she
I thought it
look
was the
like she
brother.
wants to kiss her brother?
No,
I'm
they
so
were
confused.
they were like both teens on a ship together. So I think they kind of had like a
okay.
like
I
some tension.
just her reaction of why he's gone. It feels like it's siblings than just really close friends, unless they were lovers and they didn't show that.
Well, I don't even know if they were necessarily lovers, but maybe
Yeah,
just like they grew up together, so they're more family. Like they feel like that.
Oh,
Yeah. Close.
But there could have been some of that tension.
But it'll get there. It'll get there on this show's journey eventually.
she showed her boobies, and he was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
Don't mind me.
Lots to take in here. As Ezra, we'll see if he ever makes an appearance. I don't know. But I guess we'll find out eventually.
I know there was the guy that played Starkiller from the Force Unleashed games. He tweeted out saying like he's like has something to do with the show. So it'll be interesting to see what that is, whether he actually plays Starkiller or just another character.
That's interesting. So, do you think that these other, like, what about the other two, like, I guess I'll call them sidekicks, right? There's the masked dude, right? And then there's the other girl, the villain.
Yeah.
Are they do anything for you? Or I mean, I like the guy. He's like really cool.
Yeah, the boss is pretty cool. The girl is like all right. There's nothing wrong or nothing bad. It's just like there needs a little bit more character development there.
Well, she doesn't speak ever, so
yeah, she doesn't really talk.
She's
so it's
really intense in episode 4, though. She was very intense.
Yeah, with the space battles, or especially that was also really good too. The whole scene, like the space scene, with Rosario on the ship and stuff.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That was
that I'm talking about on the planet.
Yeah, and the fights and stuff. Yeah. And then what was the other? The robot guy. I don't know if he's a robot or what. Just a masked guy. He's kind of badass.
It's I think there was the sixth brother or something, the Inquisitor.
Yeah, they said his name. I can't remember what it.
The one that when he got
one that got cut open.
and turned into a mist. I think that was just like the witches.
Try not to say that, but
I don't know if I think he'll be back.
That was episode 4. Sorry.
I think he'll be back. I think there was a significance to that.
I think he was just part of the witches, like.
Yeah, apparently the witch like contained that form in that suit or whatever. That's why. But I don't know if it's dead or if it's just like,
right.
Yeah.
But what about the witch lady?
Maybe that was Ezra.
I mean, she's interesting. I would like more. I need to look more into that because I know she was in Mandalorian. She was in one episode of Mandalorian, the witch. I can't remember though, like if she was in any Clone Wars shit or not. I have to go back and look at that, but
yeah, I'm not sure if she's with the sisters or the.
Well, all the Night Sisters are supposed to be dead, so there's only a few left. Because after Order 66, they also killed all the Night Sisters.
Yeah, but who knows if she's like the teacher?
Yeah, what kind of significance lore-wise do the Night Sisters have?
They're the female version of Darth Maul's people. They
okay.
They lived on 2 different planets. All the sisters lived on one planet, and all the like Maul people lived on the other. So it was like male, female planets. And then the Night Sisters can use magic. It's pretty much the Force, but it's magic. It's not the Force, but they can do like crazy shit. So
interesting. So they were always like more dark side type people.
More like dark side, but more like if you had something they needed, they would help you. So they like help Jedi. They help.
Right. Yeah. Right. I'll help you, but all I need is your life and your soul, right? Or your firstborn child, or whatever. Right on.
I just need seed.
Anyway,
to grow plants, dude. It's a desert.
Yeah. Awesome show so far, man. I can't wait to see where it goes. And I think, like, does this give hope for future Star Wars shows?
If you can give everything to Dave Filoni, yes.
Jon Favreau's awesome too. Like, I really like.
He's a good director, but I don't know if he knows the Star Wars lore as much.
Right.
Yeah, Filoni is pretty much George Lucas 2.0, or not 2.0, but it's his like fucking doppelganger. Like he knows just as well.
Yeah, the way he described it is George Lucas was his master, and he was the Padawan to George Lucas while they were like filming stuff. So like, he tried to learn everything that George Lucas was teaching him and telling him about Star Wars.
Yeah,
right.
So if Disney was smart, they would keep him and let him head up the shit, and say goodbye to Kathleen Kennedy. It has not worked out, Disney.
Yeah, but at that same time, don't you want him to? He needs to be directing everything, right? Like,
but he knows.
I understand, like, if he's like the Feige, right? Like, at the same time, though, like, directors have bigger impact. I think
maybe just run final approvals by him. Like,
yeah.
He has to be the one that says, no, you can't put this random fucking Jedi in here because they were dead or whatever. It's like,
right.
Or you
so
can't
they stop breaking
this
canon.
power is not capable with this person. It was never there. Or, they can't do that. Or, whatever. No, you can't have a baby Wookiee in this episode because we're not trying to sell toys.
But Disney is trying to sell toys, so they'll say, Dave, we're trying to sell toys, man. Like, sorry.
That's fine. But don't put it in my goddamn TV show. That's all. Sell toys.
Well, that's how.
Don't put it in my TV show.
That's how they're gonna sell the toys. I understand it. It's at the end of the day, like it's a business. But I do think that they get away with the tropes and feel like they have to do certain things to sell those, as opposed to just like these characters are awesome that we watch, so that's why we like it, right? Because that's what originally made Star Wars toys and Star Wars popular in the first place. It wasn't that they had to have a special character that made a good plushie, right? Like, it was because those were awesome characters and people loved the characters, so they bought toys based off of the characters, not because, hey, we can easily make a toy out of that little kids are gonna like.
And they learned that the hard way with the fucking 7, 8, and 9, where no one bought the fucking toys for those shit. It's like, oh, people are still buying fucking Boba Fett and Clone Wars crap, so it's like
there's a lot of BB-8s out there. There's a lot.
Yeah, he was on oranges.
There was a lot of BB-8s out there.
That's fine. That's an android. That's fine. I don't need a baby fucking Yoda running around doing nothing.
Yeah. I still need to watch Andor. I haven't watched it yet. But anyway, we're gonna get out of here, everybody. A shorter show tonight, hour and a half. Fun conversations. We got through the 3 topics. We had Ahsoka, we had Deadpool 3, and we had Starfield, just like we said. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this second episode return of FunPop. And we're going to keep it going here and have awesome conversations and be on the lookout for more news about all this stuff. I hope Marvel gets back on track too. Gotta say, maybe Star Wars is hope yet for all of them. Psycho.
You say there's a new hope?
A new hope for Marvel. Psycho, tell everybody where they can find you, bro.
Thank you for coming out, everybody. It is fantastic to see you all here supporting us on FunPop. You can follow me everywhere on social media, especially on Twitter/X at Psychonauts8. You can find me here Mondays, FSP at 10, at FunPop at 10, on Tuesdays. It's kicking in. And
it's been kicked in.
Xbox Ultimate. Xbox Ultimate. Fucking Friday at 10 o'clock. Y'all have a great night because I'm about to have a better one.
Right on, bro. Jasper, what about you?
Yo, check it out. Lord Jasper on YouTube, or Lord Master Jasper on YouTube, Lord Jasper on Twitter. 10 o'clock Monday, Tuesday, Friday, right here on Fun Speculation with all those shows. And then I'm going to finish up Ahsoka tonight, and then I'm going to go live on my YouTube. Going to build the ghost ship from Ahsoka and Star Wars Rebels. So get ready for that. Probably like 30, 45 minutes after we end here. And then, yeah.
Right on. And I am massively fighting an allergy attack right now. My eyes are just going crazy, dude. But thanks, Jasper. Thanks, Psycho. Everybody, I can't even open my eyes right now. I'm just going to do this like blind. Everybody, check out all of our shows. PM in the PM may not happen this week. Pong has some stuff going on, some personal life stuff. So we're up in the air on that. So stay tuned. You'll find out one way or the other. Friday, we will have the Xbox Ultimate Podcast at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Besides that, we'll see everybody back also on Monday for FSP. Thanks for tuning in to FunPop episode 57, and I hope you have an awesome one. Go watch Ahsoka. It's great. Peace out. I can't fucking see. Later. And I can't even find my button.
Bye.
Bye.